Knowledge is like a bow, and our mind is an arrow. In one of the great texts, the master says, he gave that example that knowledge is a bow and mind is an arrow. So if the arrow hits the target and stay at the target, the knowledge is revealed. It can be done here and now. If the bullet is hit on a target and deflected, it is a waste. Similarly, see the beauty of the metaphor. So it means the mind not only should hit the target but stay there. So when the mind stays there, that is the meaning, the mind merges into real self, and the knowledge of the real self is revealed. Now we can understand why to prepare the mind and how we succeed in meditation. That is why I have been saying the mind. Couple of people have sent an email that they have their other engagements. So you see the clarity of our teachings of the masters, and that clarity will come when you start applying these principles in your daily life. Otherwise, what will happen? 1 hour of peace, 23 hours of running, anxiety, duality. Why? Because of the wrong notions. So last week, that is why, whether we are a teacher or not, apply those principles. Whoever apply those principles to your father, he had been my student. So apply them. So when you apply them, first thing what happens, you see that your all running will stop. You will find the running. I will tell you why. You know it why, but I'm just repeating so that you will realize it. I know you. So that is why I said last week that listen to all these so that we can move a step further from the next week. Better to listen from the first lesson to until now, extract the main points from there, and check how you can apply in thought, speech, and action. And Lara, you can just start giving a brief talk on those in all your sessions and see what happens, because repetition in the mind will make it focus. If you are not a teacher, still we can apply in our daily life, in our personal life, in our professional life. So it means what? This mind will rewind these principles in my personal, professional, social, family life. That will bring about a change. That will bring about a change. So when we start doing this, the Viveka or the discernment will be settled in the mind. And when this discernment is settled in the mind, we can see the clarity. Do you understand still? Do you still recall what is clarity, understanding? Viveka gives me a clarity, understanding. And that clarity, I will say same example, neighbor's house and my house. So what I did in that clarity, I classified. This is not me and this is me. See, this is my house, that is neighbor's house. You see another clarity, this is body and I have a mind. So by regularly applying in daily life will help us settle in the Viveka, and that will make us the highest level of a seeker. That is what we have done last week. So Viveka is nothing but the cognitive ability. Cognitive. What is that cognition? I see you, so I cognize you. That is what you see. We use the common word, I recognize you. I know you. Cognitive ability. So that gives us a very clear understanding. So once we have understood this Viveka, now understand how we can apply the Viveka in our daily life. There are about 25 steps of that. I will pick up couple of them. First thing to understand, this mind is like a river. Patanjali explained. But this river has two flows. One flow from higher to the lower and from the lower to the higher. This is how the first thing to understand. So when we ask this mind to flow upward, we are doing Viveka. So what that means actually in daily life. So you wake up in the morning and just become aware. What are your likes and dislikes? Is the mind moving towards likes and dislikes? What is pleasant to you? This is one flow. And you have to introduce Viveka there. Like neighbor's house, my house. So neighbor's house is what I like, what I dislike, what is pleasant to me, what is craving, and me, what is right and good. That is the path of we use the term Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas and Preyas. Two flow of the mind. So can I become aware and have a clarity in my thought, in my speech, in my action? Whether I follow the path of Preyas, whether I follow the path of the Shreyas. You follow the path of the Shreyas internally. Internally, I would say, mentally, you are thinking like this. You will discover that your anxiety drops, your running mind drops, your distraction drops. Such an easy process now, after understanding. So this is one way to do the Viveka in our daily life. Think of this, pleasure. I get a pleasure in pasta. One day, first day is 100% pleasure. You may think that I am an Italian. So it's okay. So one day I'm eating it 100% pleasure. Second day it is 90%. 10th day 0%. The time comes the mind says I don't want. If I'm repeating this. So it means what? Repeat pleasure reduces it. And we have the experiences in our daily life. You buy a new car. First day, second day, third day, after 7 days, it becomes so casual. So I have to find it out. I have to live into that Viveka. So when you live into that Viveka or discernment, you sit in meditation, the mind is not distracted. And that mind will succeed in meditation. So it can apply to your personal life, it can apply to your professional life, social life, family life. So now, goals and means Viveka. Discernment of goals and means. You have to think of it. Wealth is a means to meet the basic necessities of our life. And what is the end? End is happiness. So now we understand that the wealth cannot buy the happiness. The wealth becomes the goal of life. It does not become the means. Are you getting it? Now reverse the position. Goal of life is wealth and the end is happiness. Goal should be happiness. Goal of life should be happiness, and let the means be the wealth. Just think of it. Think of it. If you reverse the position, what happens? So what is going to happen? The goal remains happiness when you wake up in the morning and in happiness you want to earn the wealth. Viveka. Anytime. Anytime. Relationship. Apply the same thing in relationship. So once Viveka is done with reference to the goals and the means and the end. That is how we understand means and the end. So what happens? Once you follow the Viveka here, your running will stop. Still you continue to work. What is the harm in earning wealth in peace and happiness? Otherwise, we accumulate dividend. I am running and I have a lot of stress because I have to earn, and ultimately, our dividend in terms of many illnesses as we grow older. And even after 70 or 80 years of age, we carry the same notion. I have not earned enough. Or I have earned enough, Bill Gates. Still the unsatisfaction is there. So that is why we have to be careful when we want to secure total happiness by applying Viveka in our daily life. And simple way to understand, goals in life is a part of life. Goal of life is common to every human being. Just understand, pick up this point. Every day you wake up in the morning, my goal of life is to live, think, speak, and act in peace and happiness. Whatever I do, whatever I will do. And then start following. My Guruji used to say, before starting the work, during the work, after the work, check your mind. Is your mind in peace? You have achieved Viveka. And then tell me whether you have any kind of stress or anxiety. It is, you see, it is a preparation. You get rid of these anxiety, reaction, fully busyness, running, and then you sit in meditation. Meditation then becomes a play and a fun. Another Viveka, I remember, it is the Viveka between the whole and the part. Anything that is part cannot secure permanent peace and happiness. Is body whole or part? Think of it. Body is a part. It consists of, either you say system and organs, or further go down, it consists of tissues, then cells, then protoplasm. It is part. So our master used to say, now think of it. I am real self with the body, or I am body with the real self. Which one is true? Accordingly, you will find that you follow the path of the Shreyas or Preyas, you follow the path of the pleasure or happiness. It will make it clear. Are you getting it? I am real self with the body. One statement. These are wrong notions that is present in our mind. So we have to correct these notions. I am the body with the real self. Which one is true? That I remains the same. When I was born as a baby, became child, adult, young and old, I remains one, unchanging part. What is unchanging is always whole. What is changing is always part. Science says we have an understanding that every 7 years this body is totally replaced. Every cell is replaced. Science says that if I rub my hand, I have already killed 50,000 cells. And another 50,000 cells have replaced. So now from that idea, understanding, think of it. I am the body with the real self, or I am the real self with the body. I'm the real self with the body. Viveka. Look at this understanding, how the masters bring that understanding. Same thing you can apply. Same thing you can apply. I am a man first or husband first? I was not husband when I was born. As I grew older, so man is first. From the man you go little deeper. I am an individual, so I drop man and the women from wrong notions that I have created. Sometime, you already know, and I also know, man's ego is little, always try to do nasty things in relationship. So can I get rid of this, being an individual? Now individual, think of it. Individual is indivisible. What is indivisible? Real self, not the body. So I drop the notion that I'm a man or a woman. I drop the notion that I'm first husband or a wife or a brother or a sister or a daughter. So that idea, you simply drop this idea and start communicating with the people, and you will find that you are happy. You see that how the Viveka is to be applied in our daily working. Sam, you should talk to the boss that he is also an individual and you are also an individual. Why to worry? So there is no fear. There is no fear. You are talking based on the expertise that you have. No, what will happen? Boss has called me, nothing will happen, he is also a man. What will happen if I meet the Bill Gates? What will happen? He is also a man and I'm also a man. You see? So we create confusion through our wrong notions. That Viveka is to be applied at all the levels. Yes, then apply the Viveka in between sorrow and happiness. The constantly alternating pain, pleasure, likes, dislikes on one hand, and that is neighbors, and my inner peace and happiness on the other. I believe you're getting it. Now it's not a big deal. We have already covered a lot of stuff before. So I'm summarizing. Another way of doing the Viveka is I am the body or I am the owner of the body. It is like I am the car or I am the owner of the car. I am the smartphone or I am owner of the smartphone. So I have to simply think. Why I have to think? Because the mind is heavily conditioned by the society, by the education, by the culture, and that is what we are. How can we explain us? If I explain I is equal to some cherished thoughts, some reactive thoughts, some wrong notions, some feelings, this is what I am. I have to get rid of this wrong notion. I am the body or I am the owner of the body. I am the emotion or I am the owner of the emotion. So if I am the owner of the emotion, put it into the garage for sale. Put it into the garage for sale. Just say in your mind, oh, I reacted yesterday, okay, that reaction is now in the garage. To throw out, to put it into the garbage. So even when you start thinking, you are separating in your mind, because you have to think to separate. If you do not think to separate, they will continue to be with you. I'm summarizing that Viveka. I told you, Viveka is a cognitive ability. Cognitive ability means clarity, understanding. What is this clarity? I classify it. So after classification, I understand this is me and this is not me. That is enough. So when you repeat these thought pattern in your mind, you are replacing those thoughts that is causing the anxiety. So I am the body, or I am the owner of the body. I am the emotion, or I am. So this is what happens. So these are the different ways to cultivate the power of discernment in our daily life. And I have already told you there are 3 hidden practices when you are constantly learning the knowledge from the tradition by the teacher. This is what is known as satsang, and that is why we are meeting weekly, couple of days, in which we learn the principles, we apply these principles. But how you apply the principles, until you remember, you cannot apply the principles. So you wake up in the morning and the mind is moving in one flow of the prayers, what I like, what is pleasant to me. So you are increasing your craving, reaction, anger, anxiety, duality. They are bound to remain there. So that is why this tradition says that we should continue to listen to the principles from the teacher, and at the same time, second part is to applying in daily life. That becomes the karma yoga. I will take up what is the secret of karma yoga later. I leave it there. But another Viveka. Now once you follow all these Viveka, discernment, then comes the real Viveka. I have to discern between what is real and what is unreal. Real is real self only. What is the definition of real self? That is unchanging. That is pure consciousness. That is independent of anything in the world. What is non-self and false self? That is constantly changing. That creates a veil over the real self. Now check. Body is changing? Yes. Mind is changing? Yes. Intellect is changing? Yes. Ego is changing? Yes. So it means I am the real self with the body, with the mind, with the intellect, with the ego. Live your life and see what happens with that awareness. This is my house, not that is neighbors. So I have to do nothing with the neighbors. So I used to talk about we have 6 neighbors. Everyone has 6 neighbors. What are the 6 neighbors? The outermost neighbor is the world of people, object, home, wealth, things, smartphone, etc., etc. That is your first neighbor. What is the second neighbor? Second neighbor is your physical body. What is the third neighbor? Third neighbor is your energy. Your energy goes down and you say, I am tired. No, I am real self with the energy. Do you see that? Do you see it with the clarity? When you see it with the clarity, okay, I feel tired, so let me take some food. But it doesn't mean that I should be depressed. Third neighbor. Fourth neighbor, mind. Fifth neighbor, intellect and the ego. And the sixth neighbor is ignorance. So when I know that I am the real self with these 6 neighbors, I have to remove the ignorance. You are settled in meditation. One more point that you need to do, then I will pick up from the next week. I will pick up what exactly is the dispassion and how to achieve that. So one thing that we must be very clear, that discernment in the mind happens by fact and the truth. I'm not simply talking about these principles, no, follow these and condition your mind. No. Fact and the truth is present in the discernment. If fact and the truth is not present in the discernment, then forget about this journey. Then it is better not to practice. We are already conditioned. We are already conditioned, so live your conditioned life. So the master, every master says in our tradition that the knowledge that we get in the Eastern wisdom cannot be changed because it is based on the fact and the truth. So it means in every discernment we apply the fact and the truth. The way I said, body is changing, yes, constantly changing, yes. I was born, father gave me the name Girish, I was Girish at 1 year old, 5 year old, 10 year old, 20 year old. But now look at it, 10 year old. After every 7 years, my body is totally, every cell is replaced. So am I the body? No, I remain present. I am still there. Then 14 years old, 2 times the body has changed. I am still there. 21, 28. So look at it. So it means the Viveka, the discernment, must work with the right knowledge, with the fact, with the valid means of knowledge. When we work with the valid means of knowledge, then what we realize, what we realize by regular applying these principles, what we realize, that real self inside is unchanging. It is pure consciousness. It is of the nature of peace and happiness. Then what happens? Once I claim that I am the body with the real self, I created the false self. Then comes the secondary self. That causes lot of problems that do not exist. First I am the body, then I am the husband. Now can you tell me any man or a woman has any problem? But can you tell me the husband and a wife don't have a problem? So what is that husband? Where is the husband in? Where is the wife? Where is the boss? Where is the son? Where is the father? It exists in my mind. That is what happens. For the near and dear ones, we fight. Far ones and strangers, why have to fight? I claim that I am so dear. I am so near to you. And still I have differences. Look at this way of discernment. Separating. Let me drop the husband in me. Let me talk to my honey. See that? Let me drop the idea of being a teacher. Let me talk to you. So I understand your point of view. I accept your point of view all the time. And from there I start. Look at it. So the way you say false self is created when I declare, my mind declares that I am the body with the real self. And because I am the body, I have to relate to you. Then I become husband and wife. Do you see the very finer print in the mind? And that finer print is the wrong notion, needs to be removed. And once they are removed, we are ready for a higher journey. What happens, last point, what happens in the ultimate level of Viveka? One great master, J. Krishnamurti, used to say, it is choiceless awareness. Viveka takes you to the state of choiceless awareness. And what is choiceless awareness according to Buddha? Objectless state of the mind. What is the objectless state of the mind according to Patanjali? It is the highest state of meditation. From understand. So this is the importance of Viveka in our daily life. It helps our personal, professional, social life. Not only, it also helps to rediscover ourselves. So I will be using other different types of Viveka in dispassion also, but we will take up the dispassion in our next session. So now let us start our journey of meditation. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. Body is steady. Mind is looking inside. We imagine so many things. So imagine you are doing mental namaste. You know, these are known as the formative capacities of the mind, like one imagination and visualization. So our crazy mind visualizes nasty things. Oh, this guy doesn't like me, that guy reacts against me. Why to imagine like this? Let us imagine that you are in Namaste Mudra and the center of the palm is representing the mind. 5 sense organs and 5 motor organs are represented by these 10 fingers. So we stay there. Namaste means also not me. What is not me? Not my neighbor. I am real self with body, mind, intellect. I am real self with the 6 neighbors, no problem. But I am all these 6 neighbors with the real self, biggest problem. So now you are looking into the space inside the palms. A thought always comes pertaining to the 6 neighbors. It has nothing to do with the real self. So when you have that understanding is known as seeking in meditation. And the very practice is known as such. I think I picked up those 2 words in previous sessions. So once you are 100% clear in Namaste Mudra, so what is the problem and what is the solution that the meditation gives? Asato ma satgamaya. It removes the false self. It helps me to move from the false self to the real self. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. So what the meditation does? It makes me move from ignorance to wisdom. I've already explained ignorance many a times. That is why I said, repeat it. Make a bullet point of the previous sessions and apply them in your life. Mrityorama amritangamaya. Now you will understand that very easily. What is that? I am the body with the real self. The body has to die. Body will die one day. Nobody can stop it. So, but when I am the body, I have a fear, I have insecurity, I have anxiety, I have reaction. Now you have an understanding. I am real self with the body. With the body. I am with my car, I am with my smartphone, I am with my home, etc., etc. Then what happens to your intellect? It separates you. See the state of the mind now. Now I am real self with, and that I don't want with in meditation. Mind will not run after when you have a clarity. Look at the neck joint, be aware and feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. And take the mind a little deeper into the space. From the space, become aware of the Namaste, not me. 6 neighbors, not me. You are only comfortable when your mind lives even for a few seconds into that state that you are none of these 6 neighbors. find out from today. When you are totally happy, you feel as if you are flying into the sky, it is only because you do not know, but because you realize you are the real self with the six neighbors. It is our experience that we do not recognize. That is what means by being comfortable. I'm taking this step to a next level. Look at the shoulder joint. Now you will easily pick up how I have been giving you the step of being comfortable. Look at the shoulder joint, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. It is an experience in the mind, cognition by the intellect, and then what I said, space. Infinite space bypasses all the six neighbors. Just to give you that glimpse. And at the same time, some of you told me that you said steadiness in the body, steadiness not of the body. When you recognize that, you are perfectly comfortable. How about if you live into that state 24/7? That is why I said even being comfortable can, only single step can help you reach to the highest state of meditation. And now being casual. Now being carefree. Thoughts are coming, you already know that they come because of the six neighbors. Many similes. Standing across a road, watching the traffic. Birds flying in the sky. Mind is acting like a salesman. And still we say we will continue. We will add one simple intensive step of breathing with awareness and a focus inside the head or the heart. And we continue. Start the breathing, quick, short, and gentle breath, but keep your awareness and attention inside the head or the heart in the space. Keep looking into the space and start. So check that the mind is absorbed. Mind recognizes it is play and fun. Anything that is play and fun, you don't look at the time. You want it to continue. So one day the mind will like to continue, and then we will replace it with other step. Continue. Yes, continue. Quick, short, gentle breath. Awareness and attention inside the forehead in the space, as if you are looking into the infinite space, and continue. Also check, the mind will say no, you say yes. Mind will say no, you say yes. And we are not doing a big deal. It's not, we are not moving the body. We are not exerting. Continue, please. And stop this. Do nothing. Let us directly move to the six neighbors. Even if you do the Viveka, you can settle into the higher state of meditation. Just become aware of the world outside the world. How do you see that separation between you and me the same way you see the separation from the world? It has to be done in the mind. Now look at the second neighbor. So physical body is the second neighbor. So how do we know that I'm the real self with the body? First, move the mind on the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Experience sensation, relaxation, stillness. So you experience the stillness in the body, relaxation in the body, sensation in the body. And inside the body, become aware of the space and the sensation. You may remember, I used to give the practice. Inside the body, there is a sense of calmness and quietness. In that state, when we look at the body, we get a glimpse. What we get a glimpse? That I am not the body. Why constantly changing? It is supported by the knowledge. Prana, the third neighbor. Breath coming and going. We hardly become aware of this breath during the day. It is a life force, a manifestation of consciousness. I am the breath? No. So the Buddha gave a passive practice that keep looking at the breath. What will happen? One day you will recognize this breath is moving in the infinite space and nothing happens to the space. There are a lot of other steps. This is one of the simplest ones. So we recognize that I am not the breath. Then we come to the fourth neighbor, the mind. Mind. So here we keep that understanding. The mind is nothing but the thought, feeling, and the sensations, and nothing else. Thought is there, mind is there. No thought, no mind. Thought pertains to the world outside, and the world is not me. Hence, I am not the mind. Then comes the intellect and ego. It is our fifth neighbor. So that poses a lot of problem. And that ego depends on the previous four neighbors. So if it depends on four neighbors, it is not me. And the sixth neighbor is what we say, the ignorance. What I say, I do not know my real nature. That is why we are learning. So we remove that wrong notion. We keep the understanding that I am the knowledge. I am the real self. Or we pick up only one point. What is that point? That is what I gave you in couple of sessions before. Look inside the heart, in the space. Become aware of the infinite space all around. Pick up a point in the space. Drop Shantoham with understanding. I am the peace. Not silently. It happens silently, not the six neighbors. So go with that. So again, move the mind in the space inside. Find another milestone. Pick up a point in the space. Drop Shantoham means I am the peace. Means I am the peace, not the six neighbors. You have a non-verbal awareness. Here is my house, not the neighbor's one. So these two One is awareness, second is declaration that I am the peace. And see what happens. Your body will not move. Why? I'm not the body. Who moves? Fifth neighbor. Unless I say I'm the body, then only I move. It's all a play of six neighbors. And we get worried. Continue. See what happens. Shanto ham. When you say I am Lara, you have already separated me from you. When you say Barbara or David or Jerry. So when I say I am Shanto ham, internally, that's the intellect has already separated. I am none of these six neighbors. You are already there. The mind continues to move inside, and you are aware of that movement in the space. In that space, you pick a point in the space because you are moving into the space, so you know it. How do you know it? That is what I discussed in the very beginning. Knowledge is bow, arrow is your mind. It should hit the target and stay there. So that is why I say, pick up a point in the space. There you drop Shanto ham with awareness. I am none of the six neighbors. And then another milestone, then another. The time comes, again, be very clear, as though the mind stops moving. It remains aware. What happens? The most beautiful thing. Let the time come when we know and experience the separation. Then comes another higher step. Let the neighbors do what the neighbor is doing. What I have to do with it? Let the body move. Let the mind continue to think. Let all the six neighbors continue doing their job. What I have to do with it? I'm the real self. We'll go into that next higher step of the journey. Shanto ham. So the mantra becomes the means to remove the ignorance that reveals the knowledge of reality. appreciate you all. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Move the mind on the right hand. You'll find out in that silence your mind was still absorbed within, or it was rushing to return and bring the mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside. Know your experiences. How are you, Terry? I believe you didn't move. Terry has gone. How are you, David and Jerry? He will come. She will come back.
I really was inspired by the neighbors' discussion at the beginning. I've got a little question afterwards for you on it, but that really helped me sort of deal with certain neighbors through the whole process, and allowed me to get, every time we're doing this now, I'm getting deeper and deeper. And I know it's kind of oversaid, but it was just a very, it seemed like a 5-minute session. I was just so deep.
What a beautiful way to explain. Yes, that is why the knowledge is required. So I created this pattern of 6 neighbors to explain a particular principle. And throughout the life, day by day, you just remain aware. Fingers are moving, speaking. This is also neighbor. You go deeper. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. I felt like I sat in the space from the time we shut our eyes, and the mind was scanning the body and watching the breath, but I felt like I was in the space the whole time.
Beautiful. That's another good experience. How are you, Terry?
I'm okay. I didn't have my glasses on. I accidentally turned off the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel much better now. I couldn't do the fast breathing because I have a mask on.
Yeah.
Somebody's with me, but I just went the whole time with the space and the awareness. And I just went very deep, I think.
It was
I
deeper.
became much more relaxed.
Very
So
good.
I
Very
had a
good.
lot of experiences, but I don't feel like I need to list them all. I just wanted to keep going with it.
That's good. That's good. She didn't move at all. Lara, how are you?
I had a lot of movement. Physically, I felt a lot of stuff happening. It was very quiet. I mean, I think as soon as we closed our eyes, I was kind of out. And I was also not able to do the quick breathing today, but I kept with my breath the whole time and just regulating the breath, I guess. And then I had a lot of yellow color the whole time.
Whole time.
Yellow. Yeah.
That is also experience of a deeper state. Very good. How are you, Sam?
I'm really good. It's interesting how I've been able to progress with the breathing, particularly because over the weekend I was having some seasonal allergies. I was a little bit stuffed up, but I did it every day, and it was interesting because my mind I kept having that, oh no, you can't do it, oh wait, but you can actually do it. So today I found a lot of ease in that breathing because I endured it at a time when obviously the passageways were not necessarily capable of it. I guess commentaries to the neighbors, I have found recently, and maybe this is a question that maybe you'll answer later, but I've also found recently that when my mind does start drifting off, which of course it does for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Even Crazy Beard Guy.
Yeah.
I notice the conversations that are coming in are more related to the principles that we talk about, not worried about what's happening next in my day or whatever. So I guess the comment or question is that my intelligence speaking to me now instead of some random neighbor?
Yes. That is very good. Yeah.
The difference, because I'm having good conversation about if it comes up.
Intellect is the fifth neighbor, and we are learning, so the knowledge has to be installed in the fifth neighbor. 1. But knowledge as such is independent of the sixth neighbor. Body recognizes the sense. Body is purely immaterial. The mind experiences the sensation of the body. The two are different. So every neighbor has a different level of manifestation of consciousness. Consciousness manifests as sensation in the body, manifests as thought in the mind, manifests as the knowledge in the intellect. But still that consciousness is independent. You have a deeper insight. Look at Jerry, that is what... So once you listen to these principles and you have that deeper insight, that is what we want. It doesn't mean that Sam is greater than everyone. We all are equal. We all have the same knowledge. Lara? We all have the same knowledge. That knowledge has to be revealed. How are you, Barbara?
I'm very good, thank you. I kept seeing like waves of light, and
that's good.
I felt a complete detachment from everything.
That's good.
And I didn't think it would happen today because they're power washing the buildings, and there's a lot of noise outside, and it didn't distract me at all.
Beautiful. You see that? I have one friend in New Jersey group. Whenever the fire station starts blowing the horn, he says, I cannot listen to you. I only listen to the horn. It's all an example and understanding of the six neighbors. They are neighbors. What I have to do with it? Beautiful. How are you, Vaibhav?
So it was like when going to the neighbors, when I come to the ignorance part, and when I place this that I am the peace, I feel so much peaceful inside. It's like that all what is going in my head is gone, and then I'm just with this peace only. It was very calming at that time.
Point is very important. You see that we all do one practice, but we have different experiences. That is why we are sharing the experiences, and that helps me to go to the next session. The way you all have explained beautifully, see that insight. That's what I have been saying. I don't know physics. Who says this crazy head? So I put the knowledge of the physics. Then what happens? I have a knowledge of the physics. Simple. Now apply the same thing. I am not peace. I am the peace. What is the ignorance part? Okay, peace comes and goes. So when the knowledge is there in that state, it reveals. Beautiful. How are you, Sangeeta?
सर थोड़ा सा डिस्टर्ब हो रहा था, पर जो एक लिमिट वो लेवल थी कि मैं स्पेस में हूँ और आसपास कुछ भी नहीं है.
कुछ भी नहीं. Jerry says you are very humble and beautiful. We discussed about you, and she is. I agreed with her. So she saw that everything is the space around, and she has been with me. You know, my friend has left in the middle. Jerry. So that happens. That is the way the life. So understand, you have to listen to everyone's experience today. It is so beautiful. Everyone has their own perspective. How come? Everyone's mind is different. So that mind expresses the different knowledge. That is what the question came from the Sam. But the knowledge is one. So gradually what happens, the goal of meditation is to reveal the knowledge of the reality. Sam, did you get an answer to your question?
I did.
That is all for today. Any more questions? Yeah. Yes, you did. Yeah.
With the neighbors, is there a hierarchy to the neighbors, or are they all equal?
Neighbor is neighbor. Our intellect understands the hierarchy based on how much the consciousness is manifested by a particular neighbor. This is a matter. The consciousness is hidden. When it comes to breath, there is a little sensation. Mind, more. Intellect, much more. Ego, much more. Because ego claims I am the real self. It replaces the real self. So that's again a beautiful question. So manifestation makes us believe as if the ego is very near to the real self, because it wants to know, it wants to understand. Otherwise, all the neighbors are same. Why? Pick up a single neighbor and you identify with it. You are in ignorance. Level of ignorance will remain the same. I don't know real self. I am the body. I don't know real self. I am the life force. I don't know real self. I am the mind. So mind plays with the pleasure and the pain. Huh? Did you get it? Yeah, that's another principle. We'll come back to it. Keep a smile, Lara. She is story focused.
Oh, here's where my mind is going.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to put it in. I need to think about it. I don't know how to put it in words.
Think it. Okay. Yes, okay. Terry has raised it. We are listening to you in silence. Unmute it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah, better.
pure consciousness that is not individuated, does that experience, does pure consciousness experience knowledge? Or is it because we are manifestations?
Yeah, that's another beautiful question, and we are coming up in future sessions. We will answer, but let me make it clear by consciousness with these 6 neighbors is known as indivisible consciousness. Right? Consciousness with the entire universe is known as universal consciousness.
Okay.
But the consciousness is the main. Now, if I leave the 6 neighbors, what is left? Pure consciousness. That is my real self. You drop the entire universe with the 5 elements, what is left? Pure consciousness. That is what we know as a God. That is what we know as a God. We are coming closer, step by step, to these things. Now, this consciousness is knowledge, it is peace, it is happiness, it is love, it is wisdom.
Okay.
Simple answer. And then we will go in detail. We will open up. Oh, this is how I am consciousness. This is how I am none of these 6 neighbors. There must be a clarity. So once we have a clarity, oh, we are living into that state. That is all for today. Very good discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So good.